Oh boy. Okay, okay. Sorry for the little bit of lateness. Just had to, like, apparently freaking log into, like, everything. Thank you, phone, for making that noise right as I understand. Right as I... Okay. Right as I do things. Okay. So, we're going to play the... Which ones? Volume 2 and Volume 3. You know, they have names now. Of Bloodthirst and Bratwurst. Of Aesthetics, Crimson and Otherwise. Of Ladies Grey and Lucy White. That's cool. Alright, so we're gonna do Volume 2 first. You stumble through the streets of a strange alien world. Ever since you crash landed on this hostile planet, you've been desperate. Desperate for information, for provisions, and possibly for a bit of medical attention. Along the way, you've had some laughs, embarrassing missteps, and maybe even an encounter with alien meat products. You don't really want to get into it. What you do want to get into is friendship. An entire planet of endless friend opportunities awaits you. Honestly, at this point, you'd make friends with one of those weird purple bushes. You're not picky. Wait, you see something. In the distance, or perhaps someone. Okay, Amisia Erdahn, or Cirava Hermod. I pronounce her name as, like, Erdahn. I'm actually kind of more curious about this guy, because I know of her, she's a bit of, like, a fandom favorite, but like, I've just seen nothing of this guy at all. Or this girl, I have no idea. So I'm gonna do the gold blood first. Cirava. Yes, a potential new friend approaches, and they almost look as messed up as you are. Whoa, what the fuck? You an alien? You nod enthusiastically. You sure hope your prospective new friend is comfortable with extraterrestrials. Things could get pretty awkward otherwise. Oh, I like his music. It's pretty sick. You should really, like, not be outside. Freaks like you will get picked off by drones in a hot second. No offense. You don't like the sound of being picked off by drones. That would really inhibit your companionship plans. You hastily explain to this strange one-eyed troll that you crash-landed on this planet and are in desperate search of friendship. Your plight seems to move them. Well, shit. If you really don't have anywhere to be. I promised myself I wouldn't do anything coal risky. But what the hell. Come with me. Name's Cirava, by the way. Yeah, double V signs. You follow Cirava down a twisting stretch of road. Wow, this is going great already. You'll bet you'll have a new friend in no time. Yeah, you seem very friendly. Alright, here's my hive. You can hide out here for now. I get a lot of followers who are pretty into aliens. They might even get a kick out of this slow. You look around Cirava's hive in awe. They sure seem to have a batshit crazy taste in home decor. Checking out my aesthetic? I'm working pretty hard putting this place together. It's all about the look and the BG when you're streaming. Don't want my fans to think I live in a fucking dump and spend most of my days depressed and crying. Oh, I laugh, but I feel bad. You like Moisture Wave? What the fuck is Moisture Wave? This is probably yeah, what the fuck is Moisture Wave? Seriously? I don't even know what Moisture Wave is. If you don't even know Moisture Wave, I like can't really say why you want to be friends with me. Because to be honest, I don't even know how to explain it to you. You just have to like get it. Cirava considers you for a long moment. Actually, yeah, this isn't gonna work out. Get out of my hive. Throw it out. There we go. Well, let's try that again. And then do the skippity scooble. Yeah. Oh yeah, I love it. Oh, whoa, shit, fuck, no. Fuck. Okay, hold on. Did I just accidentally, like, skip? Hold on. I think I just fucking accidentally skipped through a million shit things. Oh god. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay, do the fast forward. Turn off the fast forward. Go, oh yeah, I love it. You have no idea what the hell Moisture Wave is, but you don't want to offend your new friend. You tell him you love it. Word. I'm actually streaming some chill beats as we speak. Check it. They gesture towards their screen, their strangely bulbous alien computer. On the screen is a GrubTube channel. Luffy aesthetic incubated beats. Well, they sure have a lot of subscribers. You ask them if they drew that very nice anime girl they're using as the splash art. I know exactly what YouTube channel they're referencing, and that's hilarious. Nah, I just ripped off some Eastern alternative movie and recolored it to look like me. Fucking nailed it. You nod vigorously. This is very impressive. Yeah, I'm kind of a big fucking deal online. I built up my own streaming empire. Worked my ass off. Nursed these beats to health with from tragically ill sample loops. It's not all fun and games, though. The life of a popular online guy. You can't even imagine the hardships I've gone through. All in the name of the lo-fi, chill-hop aesthetic moisture wave beats. That shit keeps me up at night. Cirava looks into the middle distance pensively, their one eye filled with a poignant emotion. You never knew the life of a streamer would be so vaguely filled with torment. You're moved to cry a single tear. Alright, I had like a notepad thing open. Yes, troll call thoughts. So this is Cirava Hermod. He's the gold-blood troll the Gemrius sign, the perceptive, Dursway, Hopebound. So he's a hope player, that's interesting. Despite having a lot of bad things happen to him because of like his beliefs and stuff. Yeah, you get it. You're really vibing on my emotional frequency, my dude. You know you gotta suffer for popularity. Are they like making a dig at like, you think he's a mage, but no. You nod enthusiastically. You don't think you've ever been particularly popular, but you're very good at suffering. This is going great. I wish I could say more. Really got all emotionally vulnerable and share my tragic backstory. But ever since the incident, it's been so hard to trust new people. You feel me? The incident, this is so tantalizing. You just know that if you want to make a new friend, you're going to have to get them to confess their deepest insecurities and embarrassing secrets to you. That is how friendship works. You place a sympathetic hand on Cirava's shoulder. You know what, dude? You really want to be friends? Yes. Yes! You can't believe how pain-free and easy this experience has been. What a wonderful new friend you're about to make. You can practically feel the future bro embraces you two will surely share. They feel good. They feel right. You sure are eager. But like, if we're gonna be friends, we have got to work on your look. Your aesthetic is basically hot garbage right now. My followers can't see me hang out with a fucking rando like this. I'm sure you understand. You aren't quite sure you follow. What's wrong with your look? You've always thought you had a simplistic charm, a face you could put on a logo. You're not sure if you're ready to change up the tried and true classics for this newfangled teen. But you are so thirsty for Cirava's sweet friendship nectar. You need to taste it. You have to taste it. With a friend like them, you could really go places. You could be someone. You could finally be down with the hip youth of today. You tell Cirava that you're willing to try anything to get into the esteemed ranks of their friend list. Well, damn. Hold up, I've got an idea. Follow me. I'm not going to even try to pronounce the LMAOs because I feel like it's just going to ruin how their speech sounds. Cirava leads you up to the winding stairs of their hive. Lining the walls are pictures of Cirava in strange poses in several different locations. They are surrounded by a few trolls you don't recognize in silly fashions. Fellow members of the Moisture Wave community? I really gotta take that shit down. They're all dead to me. You want to ask if they mean that literally or not. You never know with trolls, but you keep your mouth shut. It's best not to offend your new friend. Let's just move on and never speak of this again. Cirava leads into a fairly large loft bedroom. This room is a bit less ostentatious than the streaming area downstairs. Here we are. Welcome to my respite block. We're gonna get you hooked up. If you're gonna be my new friend, you gotta look the part. For streams and stuff, you know. We'll have to make you a Chitter account too. It's good for my image to have friends. The pickings have been pretty slim ever since the incident. On that ominous note, Cirava presses a button on the wall, and a large door opens to reveal an expansive walk-in closet filled with colorful accessories and clothes. It looks like a regular batshit neon shirt apocalypse. Well, have at it. Unless you want me to help you pick out a look. So picking out my own look is probably gonna be terrible, so let's do that one. You let Cirava know you are perfectly comfortable picking out your own look. You think you can figure out this fashion business easily enough. What could possibly go wrong? This is child's play. Yeah, man. Fashion is just all about, like, what you're feeling. And also what's trending, but you know, we're the ones that start the trends. You strike me as a real influencer. Go for it, my dude. You enter the closet tentatively. As soon as Cirava's out of sight, your stupid ego deflates like a farting balloon. You don't know the first thing about the hip youth alien fashion of today. This is going to be an absolute shit show, you reckon? You are fully prepared to make an utter fool of yourself. Well, might as well get started. You pick a few accessories off the shelves at random. A bright pink hat? Sure. You tilt it jauntily to the side. You're pretty sure that's cool. Sunglasses? Definitely. That's a no-brainer. No cool guy would be caught dead without a sweet pair of shades. You select the most ostentatious pair available. You think you're getting the hang of this moisture wave aesthetic. You just have to look like the biggest tool possible. Several accessories later. Oh no, don't disconnect. Stop disconnecting on me. That's bad. My internet's not down, is it? No, I have internet access. What's going on? Now I just have to wait on this silly screen until my friggin' OBS things comes back. There we go, now it reconnected. Dang it. I hope this isn't gonna become a thing. I don't want this to keep disconnecting and reconnecting and... Ah, shit. Maybe doing streams at the last second probably wasn't the greatest idea. Oh well. I wanted to get through all 4 of these before more of them come out. I'll just wait. Checking up on my stream until it comes back. This is gonna suck for the YouTube part of it. Sorry about this. At least it's recording and, like, you know, not skipping on the YouTube recording part of it. God damn, what's happening to my freaking internet? Is it good? I can't tell. It's not working for me on my end. Okay, I'll just keep going. Whatever. It'll get uploaded onto the YouTubes. Okay, so wow, radical Nito. Oh my fuck, this shit is transcendent. Wow, you got me speechless. Just damn, look at you. It's like you're a whole new guy. A much chiller and cooler guy who I now gotta be friends with right now immediately. Oh, I thought this was gonna be the bad end. Now all we gotta do is debut you to my hundreds and thousands of followers. This is gonna be fucking great. Let's take some selfies. Your heart is soaring. You did it. You really did it. You're down with the kids. And now Cirava wants to take the coveted selfies with you. This night couldn't be going any better. What am I, like a 40-year-old man? You may look like a complete asshole, but if it can win you popularity with a bunch of alien teenagers, then an asshole you will be. Selling out is amazing. Well, what are you waiting for? Get over here. We're gonna take some selfies. You pose with Cirava for several selfies. They put their arm around you in a gesture of newly formed friendship. You are beaming with friend pride. Oh, hell yeah. These are turning out great. Damn, killing it. And all I get to do is post them. Cirava fiddles around with their phone for a while. You're so nervous. You've never been internet famous before. You hope the new fame won't change you too much. Or maybe you do hope it will change you? Change you into someone with a ton of friends. And the likes are rolling in. Oh yes, I live for this shit. This one guy is asking if you want any of your quadrants filled. Oh, and this girl loves your shades. Damn, a lot of people asking if you're single. Don't go for it though. My followers are fucking freaks, dude. You aren't quite sure what filling a quadrant is. Sounds like some kind of fucked up alien ritual. But if it's anything like friendship, you are all for it. Oh god. Welcome to my twisted internet fame. Let's chill out and listen to some beats. You vape? I got a pretty juicy rig downstairs. Before you know it, you're sitting on Cirava's couch, watching them finagle with a horrifyingly elaborate vape rig that appears to be made out of some sort of living larva. You don't want to know. Cirava places their mouth on what surely must be a bug anus and exhales deeply. The rig makes an awful high-pitched rattling noise. You think you're going to vomit. Oh man, that's the good stuff. Okay. Here you go, dude. Oh god, vaping is just fucking bug farts. Okay. You take the trembling insect into your hands. Well, here goes, your final hurdle to eternal friendship and popularity. You vape vigorously, inhaling as much as you can. The vapor fills your lungs immediately. It burns a lot. You suddenly realize that you're not quite sure if this alien vape juice is compatible with your anatomy. You could have just inhaled a bug ass full of poison like a fucking idiot. What a way to die, your vision swims. Yeah, you got it. Just hold it in, though. Tears stream down your face as you hold in your double lungful of insect gas. You sure are glad you have on your pair of cool shades, or you would never be able to live this embarrassment down. You're not sure how long you're supposed to do this? As long as it takes. You can exhale now. You cough and sputter, green vapor spewing from your mouth straight into Cirava's face. You did it. You lived. Oh man, that was sick. Your head feels light and woozy, and you giggle. Yeah, you kick back and relax on the couch, and you stare at the ceiling. Whoa, when did that huge wasp nest get up there? Crazy, man. Cirava's music suddenly sounds a lot more interesting. Dude, what does that say? Oh, what does that say? I want to know. Today has been way chillier than I ever expected. You are officially my best friend for life. Just promise me you'll never betray me. You promise. This is incredible. You love your new friend. You watch as they effortlessly take another huge rip from their vape rig. I've been burned in the past, huh? It's not easy being popular online, especially as a low blood. I used to be such a fucking big shot. Got into sassy fights with high bloods and chitter. Always had some shit to say. Then shit got out of control. I'm a psionic, so bitches started reporting me as way more powerful than I really am. I'm trying to get me all enslaved and shit so I couldn't keep up with my streams. It's all jealousy, you know. My stupid ass friends all turned to me so they wouldn't be targeted next. So I took matters into my own hands. Gouged out my fucking eye. It was sick as fuck. Can't use me as a battery, bitch. I still got a big following, but I don't really talk online anymore. Better to just stay under the radar and not piss people off. Just be chill. And if I don't get close to my followers, they can't try to use me. Of course, that just means I no longer have any goddamn friends. Well, till you. You are truly moved, with the special bond you have formed with your new friend, to have them open up to you about their darkest secrets. This is the most significant and transcendent moment you have ever experienced. The two of you share a beautiful and tender bro embrace, the likes of which will never be replicated in this known universe again, for all time, forever. Probably. You don't really know. You're high as fuck right now. Yay, I did it! I made a friend! My first friend. Also, I'm probably dying from, like, poisonous inhalations. Okay. Well then. Now I just have to go back to that second choice and, like, get the bad end, you know what I mean? Click, click, click. So now just skip. Oh yeah, I love it. And then help me with my look. You admit it, you have no idea how to dress yourself. You could really use some expert advice for a teen. Oh shit. Cue the makeover sequence, bitch. I'm gonna make you look aesthetic as fuck. Aesthetic as fuck. You stand in the center of Cirava's closet for a good hour as they go back and forth between various fashion items. Man, this troll is really indecisive. You think you're gonna go blind from all the neon in here. Okay. I'm done. That was surprisingly hard. You have a hard to dress body. Just in general, you're kinda fucked up looking. It's chill though. Cause now you look fly as hell. You look at yourself in the mirror. Slightly different version of the radical. Alrighty. Iconic. Now we just gotta get you set up in the social medias, my dude. But first, selfie time. You take a variety of cool selfies with Cirava. Wow, this is really going well. Oh, is this the bad end that I look terrible and I suck? Because I have the same fashion as him. Alright, I'll just post these and promo you. You'll be internet famous in no time. Then we can finally be friends. That's what it's all about, baby. That's what you've been working towards this entire time. Cirava's friendship is so close you can smell it. It smells pretty dank. Seems like people are really into you. Check it out. It's true, the likes and comments and subscriptions are just rolling in. Huh. At this rate, you'll be more popular than me. You assure Cirava that this will definitely never happen. All you desire is friendship, not fans. That's what they all say. All my so-called friends. They were only in it because I was popular. No one ever gave a shit about me as a person. I'm just a funny meme to them. Just a guy they can copy. You know high-bloods are always stealing my work, my look, my music. I'm the real influencer, but there's violet-bloods out there taking my shit and getting twice the followers and tons of money. And I'm stuck here in the shitty hive with no friends because they all turned on me. But it's cool. It's chill. You're not chill, you're vibrating. I'm totally chill with it. Something shifts in Cirava's expression as they get a good look at you. You tense up. Your new friend sure is acting weird. Ding! Cirava checks the notifications on their phone. What the hell did you do? Huh? What? You didn't do anything. You think you could just steal my look and get away with it? All my followers think you're the new big thing because you look like me. They want to know what the hell's going on. When's your new friend's stream? What's their sign? Are you kidding me? You haven't even done anything. You're just like all the rest. No, you don't want to be just like all the rest. You just want to be friends. You're the one who dressed me to look exactly like you. It's too late for that now. You made me look like a fucking idiot. And now there's only one thing to do. I really didn't want it to come to this. But you left me with no choice. I'm ready to call out post. No! Oh, I'm sick. Friggin' boyfriend's getting me sick. No! Cirava types furiously on the device. You can't stand to look. This is the worst possible thing that could have happened. Now, no one will be your friend ever again. You'll be forced to live on the outskirts of society, a pariah. You can't even begin to imagine the things that Cirava must be writing about you. You must have fucked up so many things in your life to lead you to this point. There's only one thing to do. You stagger downstairs, past all the portraits of Cirava's ex-friends. You wonder if they met the same horrible fate as you, their grinning faces taunty with slivers of friendship that could never be. You bust out of the front door of Cirava's hive and make your way to a conveniently placed stump. You sit on it in complete despair. There's no point living anymore. With trembling hands, you reach inside. Oh boy. That got dark. Also funnily referencing that part in Homestuck. Oh boy. The vape boards just said aesthetic. Oh, okay. Nice. Nice. Okay, I was too busy actually, like, laughing to get any kind of, like, classpect idea from that. Other than the big glaring word suffer and the fact that he's really paranoid about stuff. Like, extremely paranoid. But that fits more into, like, his version of, like, his hope aspect, which he is. Because he's hope-bound. Yeah, I'm trying to think about, like... So he's basically really paranoid. He's very chill, though. Like, he wants to be friends, but he can easily, like, flip and turn on you on a dime, right? Yeah. I'm just putting mage? Question mark? Because, he's perceptive. And the thing is, his gem reassign, it says he's the perceptive, so it's like... Maybe there's, like, a similar variant. There's not really much to go on, but I'm just gonna go with mage. Very easy. I have 3 others to do, so I'm just gonna go with mage for him. There's honestly not really a lot. Like, maybe if I thought through it a bit more, like, his things. I was just too busy laughing. This is the thing. Much random shit. Okay, maybe Amisia's will be a bit more serious. So let's do Amisia's. Amisia. Okay, Amisia Erdahn. Lo, what light through yonder weirdly organic architecture breaks? A small figure approaches. Oh my gosh! You are so far you've swallowed quite a few insults in regards to your looks and intelligence level. You aren't really the type to let the shallow opinions of others get you down, but it's been kind of a rough day. You brace yourself. Cute! Oh? She gives you a sweet, sincere smile. Oh, she's kind of adorable, actually. Is she still a bloodthirsty murderer? I've never seen anything like you. It's giving me all sorts of new ideas. I'm voicing her very cute. The music lends itself well to this. Boy, do you hope some of these ideas are about friendship. Now that you've got a taste of it, you are hungry for more. You take a stumbling step forward, and your ribs remind you that although the potential of camaraderie is enough to improve your mental health, it can't cure acute injuries. Oh, you don't look so good. Come inside. I've been looking for new contributors. Contributors? Could she mean friendship contributors? No, that's dumb. Maybe she runs some sort of alien newspaper and she wants you on staff. She looks a little young for that, but what the heck do you know about alien management hierarchy? You follow her to a nearby building, and now that you're looking up from your ravenous hunt for companionship, you notice that you've wandered into kind of an upscale part of town. There's a lot less garbage and people collapse in the street. You see one of those spiky robot things, but it's washing a window instead of shooting a laser at a group of children. If that's not high class, you don't know what is. Before you can follow her inside, she turns around in the threshold, blocking your way. Real quick, you don't happen to be an artist, do you? Artistry? Well, as a matter of fact... Tell her, yeah, it isn't exactly your whole deal, but you've been known to dabble. Oh, I see how it is. Well, you aren't going to snake rodent any trade secrets out of me. Goodbye. Well, you completely blew it. Just give her anything. It's funny. What is Amisia anyway? She's mind-bound. Okay. But she's also Sagittarian, like me. Alright, let's try this again with the obviously correct answer. Tell her, no, you've never had much of a knack for it. Oh good. Friendships between artists can be so fraught. Much better to just keep things between artists and art appreciators. That way no one can get jealous. The girl's smile widens even further, and you feel an unbelievable rush of joy. Have you finally found someone who isn't a total fucking maniac? And she brought up friendship without you having to mention it at all. It puts a spring in your step. Or as much of a spring as possible with a broken arm and a misaligned torso. Amisia leads you to an elevator with buttons labeled in spiky letters that make absolutely no sense to you. You realize that probably nothing is ever going to make sense to you again. That's okay. Your hierarchy of needs has adjusted recently. Your new friend, you are jumping the gun with this descriptor, but you are feeling seriously good about this encounter, stands in the corner of the elevator, wringing her paws. I wish I'd known I was going to have company. I would have cleaned up a little. It's been a while since I met anyone new. You assure her that whatever disaster her house is, it can't be any worse than some other places you've seen here. Although you kind of get what she means. She's wearing an artist smock that's covered in splashes of paint. Paint. Yeah. Actually, it doesn't really look like paint, but it couldn't be anything else, could it? It's every color of the rainbow. The elevator door slides open, and you step into a space that you're relieved to find is totally recognizable. A table overflows with messy palettes and brushes, cloudy jars of water, and sponges. Several easels stand between the windows to catch the light of the two moons, and a number of canvases lean against the wall, turned so you can't see what's on them. First things first. Amisia brings you over to a wall screen that looks way more high-tech than anything you have on your now-defunct spaceship. Tapping away at a series of unreadable symbols, she then indicates that you should take off your sling. Here, go ahead and stick it in there. She seems to want you to put your injured arm into a large hole in the wall, which you do, because you're sure your new friend has your best interests at heart. The hole shrinks down like a blood pressure cuff, sending bolts of agony through you. You want to yank your arm back out, but you don't. Even if it's still broken, you still like having it attached to you. Instead, you shout a lot and thrash your other limbs around. Calm down, you big wriggler. It's like you've never seen a medicalizer before. If you don't stop moving, it won't work. Tears spill down your cheeks, but you force yourself still. You'll bear the pain. You'll do it for your new friend. She's looking at you so hopefully, and she's so delicate and pretty, almost angelic. You look at her face and tell yourself it's all going to be okay. Finally, the hole releases you, and you pull your arm back out to find it completely healed. You can move your fingers. It doesn't even hurt anymore. Hey, things are looking up. See? I told you! This is great. You are overwhelmed with the urge to celebrate. Be chill about it. Get excited and dance your new friend around the room. Let's be chill. You thank Amisia profusely, but you manage to keep it to a strictly verbal sort. Medicalizers are great. This part of the city is great. You really need to get more rich friends. You tell her this, throwing in a compliment of her studio while you're at it. See, this friendship stuff is easy. Aha! I'm glad you feel that way. You're obviously really strange and under-socialized, but you don't seem to be a complete cultural idiot. Plus, I think it's really endearing how helpless and trusting you are. You laugh, slightly unnerved. You want to take that as a compliment, but after a recent encounter with another girl in blue... Well, it all ended up okay. And Amisia is so nice and friendly, and she keeps calling you cute, which you think is pretty generous of her, considering what a disgusting mess you are at this point. Speaking of low bloods, what's your blood color? Just out of curiosity. Blood color? You aren't really sure what she's talking about, but red? You tell her it's red. She looks a little disappointed. I've got plenty of burgundy. Oh well. Good thing I have a delivery coming soon. Hey, do you think you can help me set a few things up before they get here? They? Visitors? As in plural? As in multiple potential friends? Oh, hell yes. You are all over that, especially considering your newly healed arm. You are anxious to display all the simple motor functions you can perform. Amisia gives you another radiant smile. You live for those smiles, man. They are just so full of the glowing nectar of romance. Perfect. Let's do this. Work always goes faster with two pairs of hands, after all. Yes, absolutely does. Oh, what'd I do? Nope. Okay. Yes, absolutely does. And even if by that she seems to mean her hands are pointing while she tells you where to put things. You're totally fine with that. Your ribs are still kind of killing you, but you swallow down the pain. You're getting pretty good at that. Too bad you can't stick your whole torso in that magical science fiction hole in the wall. Well, maybe you could, but not right now. Right now you've got a friend to help. Amisia instructs you to clear all the furniture to the edges of the room and lay down a big purple tarp. Apparently tarps aren't blue on this planet. Amisia answers her phone and then buzzes open the apartment door. She runs over to the elevator with a squeal of delight. They're here! Sorry, I'm getting so giggly about this. It's just been a while since I've had any new paints. Wait, paints? Then what's coming? That's what's coming? Now that you think about it, there is something pretty crucial missing from the whole artist aesthetic she's got going there. There aren't any paints. No tubes dribbling color or pots from their tops left partially unscrewed. There aren't even any pencils. The elevator opens and two trolls come in. They have pretty similar shaped horns and they're almost the exact same height. Brothers? Do trolls have brothers? From their uniforms and the douchey swaggering way they walk, you get the idea that they are some sort of law enforcement. That and the third troll in handcuffs they are dragging between them. Thank you guys! You always bring me the best materials. They don't say anything. They just bring the third troll to the center of the tarp and force them into a kneeling position. Then they bow to Amisia and leave the way they came. Fucking axe. This doesn't look great. Even before Amisia runs out of the room and comes back in with the axe, the size of her whole body, you are not loving this. The troll in the tarp trembles and bites back a sob, but they don't say anything or try to run. She isn't really going to do what it looks like, is she? You can't bring yourself to believe that this cute little alien girl is going to straight up axe murder a dude right in front of you, presumably to finger paint with her blood. You stammer something to this effect. Amisia laughs. Well, I don't use my fingers. I'm not a fucking animal. She considers you for a moment, tapping a claw against her mouth. I know. You can help me. I only ever let one other person help me with my work, and she's out of town right now. But you and I have a connection. You feel it too, right? You do. God, you do. You've been feeling it so much lately for everyone you meet. You thought you had maybe come across someone who would readily accept your platonic longings without putting you through the ringer first. You do want to help me, don't you? You do. You want that more than anything. Amisia looks at you solemnly. Why don't you do the honors? She holds out her axe. I wouldn't offer this to just anyone, but I can tell how special you are. You're trembling. The troll on the tarp is also trembling, but unlike you, they seem to have accepted their fate. Slowly, inevitably, you hold out your hand for the axe. Amisia gives it to you with a smile. God damn it, you forgot about your broken ribs, and that you're human, you can't just pick up gigantic fucking axes with one hand. You drop it and it bounces away from you, like way more than you think an axe should probably bounce. You look up at Amisia from where you are doubled over with pain and shame. She laughs and scampers over to retrieve the axe, once again swinging it up without any signs of strain. She doesn't even have any visible muscles. What is this girl made out of? How silly of me. You seem so culturally advanced that for a second I forgot about your natural inferiority. Here, I'll give you a second chance. You nod. Yes, please. A second chance that does not include committing gruesome murder. Usually I just use chains, but I've got a better idea. Oh god. You get what she wants you to do. You hesitate, and Amisia's smile gets even sweeter, sweet like poison. Oh? You don't want to help me? The tarp crinkles underneath you as you kneel. You grasp the troll's shoulders and mumble an apology. They continue to say nothing. Amisia is sharpening her axe, which already looks pretty damn sharp. Hold on tight! You try to. You really do. The problem is, you try to hold on tight, but at the same time, you try to drag the troll out of the way, some buried instinct to try to preserve life rising up inside you. You're weak and injured, though, so all you end up doing is just flopping both of you to the side a little. Instead of coming down on the neck in a clean slice, Amisia's axe glances off the troll's collarbone, mortally wounding them instead of killing them outright. And now you know why they have not been begging for their life. They don't have a tongue, so they can't beg, but they can sure yell, and thrash, and bleed olive green alien blood all over you in the tarp. God, there's so much blood, it's just spurting everywhere. Jesus Christ, you are an idiot, why can't you just commit? Now you're covered in dying alien, and so is everything else. Amisia, the work table, most direly, the canvas is leaning against the wall. Amisia lets one look at them and lets out a wail of rage. I can't believe this! I let you into my hive, into my life! I was planning to let you into my pusher! I thought you were a refined sophisticate, but now I see you're just a Philistine! She gives you a shove towards the elevator. Your ribs are screaming and so is the bleeding troll. You try to babble an explanation. Forget it! I don't want to hear your excuses. Chahoot was right. Oh god, your friend is Chahoot. Oh, that makes so much sense. If you want someone killed, right, you have to kill them yourselves. You ride the elevator back down, kneeling in a pool of blood and failure. Terrible at murder. Aw, I didn't succeed. Okay, now to try to finally make the friend. Okay, she's very cute, so I've seen most of her route now so far. Again, she just has those like high blood ideals of just like not really giving a shit about the lower bloods and everything, so you can't really take that into account. She is a mind bound, which actually surprises me a bit. I guess when you think about it, like she takes a lot of like thought and care into like the art and the work that she does. She's a very creative type, and she's also very like bubbly and like, you know, like stuff like that. Maybe she's like a creative like class, like a maid or a Sylph, that kind of thing. I did have the idea that maids do sort of start out as kind of childlike, sort of like just sort of going along with the rules of the society that they find themselves in, and later when they grow up, they sort of like, you know, define for themselves who they are and what they're doing and that kind of thing. So she does seem very maid-like, especially with kind of how active she is and how she like, you've got to take things into your own hands and that kind of thing. So a maid of mind I can see for her. I'll put like maid question mark under her. Yeah, continue. And now we'll do the friendship. And we'll see if anything else like sort of goes up through that. So skip. Never had a knack for art. And get excited and dance to your new friend around the room. You try to resist the urge to celebrate. You fail to resist the urge. You take Amisia by her tiny hands and twirl her about the studio. Or you try to. You forgot about your busted ribs. You sure are doing that a lot. You let go of Amisia and go careening into one of the tables, thankfully not the one covered in art supplies. You hit the corner and go into your incredibly sore ass. This is what you get for acting like a huge fucking tool in front of your new friend. Are you okay? Was that some sort of ritualistic rite of healing I've never heard of before? You shrug against the floor. Amisia leans down and picks you up in a bridal carry, despite the fact that she's about half your size. It makes your ribs hurt, but what doesn't nowadays? Amisia lays you down on a weird, lumpy couch. Are you sure you're okay? You look a little... She trails off to nothing. She's looking at your left arm, which you have draped over yourself awkwardly to sort of try to hold your torso together. That color. At first you think she means the color of your skin, which is different than her light gray. Then you think she means the truly fantastic buffet of bruises you've got going on. But then you realize that in your prancing idiocy, you've managed to scrape up the inside of your arm. Blood oozes sluggishly from the wound. Amisia dredges a finger through it. You're half expecting her to put it in her mouth and for this to become a whole cannibal situation. Well, since you aren't the same species, it wouldn't really be cannibalism, but still, no thanks. Instead, Amisia just holds her finger up, the drop of blood trembling to the tip. This color! I've never seen anything like it! She dashes off to one of her tables, pulling over a sketchbook and dragging her finger down it. Your blood paints a rusty line down the center. She lets out a little squeak of excitement. This is amazing! What, red? Not red. There's a million dirty little rusties swarming all over the city. I'm drowning in red. This is crimson. It's incredible. You must be some sort of mutant. You're really lucky I found you instead of one of the drones. Lucky? You? Haha, yes, lucky. Very lucky. The luckiest. Though your arm is healed and you're out of whatever doubtlessly weird weather happens on this planet, maybe Amisia is right. Maybe you are lucky. You close your eyes and try to breathe. Zen yourself out. Really center yourself in your own body and all that garbage. Then you open your eyes, and wow, you sure aren't centered anymore. In fact, you roll completely to the left as you try to get away from Amisia, who is back and standing over you with a gigantic axe. Watch out! Amisia grabs you, drags you back up into the couch, and plants her hand on your solar plexus, effectively pinning you down. You'll hurt yourself if you keep flopping around like a beach blubber beast. You want to be friends, don't you? You want to help me with my artistic aspirations, right? You get the feeling that she might be trying to manipulate you. Just the tiniest little suspicion. It's possible Amisia has recognized your intense craving for companionship and is trying to exploit it. You don't like being suspicious of a new friend, but that is a pretty big axe. I don't know what's got you so worried. I just want to show you my axe. Oh, of course, makes sense. It is a really nice axe. You hold out your hand for it, but of course it is too heavy for you, and your hands are all sweaty and you fumble it. Fumble the really sharp weapon. Amisia tries to catch it before it's too late, and somehow, in the wriggly struggle, you end up getting cut, like very cut, across both your wrists. In fact, you don't think she could have aimed even better if she'd been trying. Oh dear. Hard agree. Don't struggle. You only hurt yourself more, silly. You don't want that, do you? No, you definitely don't want that. Not after a Butterfingers you've proven to be. Amisia gets up to put the axe down, and you kind of lose track of her for a while. You're bleeding all over the couch, and everything around you starts to go shiny and unreal. She comes back with you a couple little jars that she uses to catch your blood. That's a good idea. You sure are making a mess. You wonder if they are specifically blood jars. They look like jam jars. Alien Jam. Space Jam. God, you love that movie. It's been so long since you've seen it. Definitely the best PG movie about basketball. Way better than the one with the dog and the clown. Do they even have basketball here? You ask Amisia. She just shushes you and brushes your hair back off your forehead. She keeps smiling and saying comforting things. God, she's such a good friend. Before too long, you do what is honestly a goddamn shock you haven't done before now. You pass out. When you come to, you are propped up against the wall in a weird way that you wouldn't love even if you weren't an invalid, and both of your arms are jammed to the hole in the wall. The med hole, the glory hole of well-being, the magic sphincter. You grunt and pull your arms back out. They're healed. The cuts on your wrists are just two faded pink lines. You take a step away from the wall and immediately hit the ground. You may not be actively dying anymore, but you did just lose like half the blood in your body. Gosh, you're tired. A little giggle makes you turn around, or roll over, since you're still on the floor and is probably not getting up anytime soon. It's fine. You've met worse floors in your life. Amisia is sitting at one of her easels, her hair pulled back beneath a scarf, and little round glasses perched on her nose. A jar of your blood sits next to her, and as you watch, she dips a brush in. I'm glad you're awake. I was a little worried I'd actually killed you back there. She laughs and you laugh along with her. It's very funny. Actually, everything is funny right now. It's probably the blood loss. You ask her what she's painting. You, of course. You inspired me. Well, right now it just looks like a bunch of red squiggles and some lines, but she's only just got started. She's warming up. She sits there on her stool, looking at her palette and chewing on her lip thoughtfully. She looks somewhat nervous. Actually, I want to show you something. Something I've never shown anyone else. She leaps up from her stool and crosses to the studio. You roll to your other side to keep her in your line of sight. You really hope she isn't getting into another Space Jam jar. She starts turning around the canvases one by one. They are all blank, except for one, which has a little... Wait, no, that's just a shadow. Every single one of them is blank. You aren't sure you understand. You ask her if these are all just new canvases that she has not gotten a chance to paint on yet. Amisia sighs. No, I've had them forever. I'm just not a real painter. There, I said it. She buries her face in her hands, talking from between her fingers. I'm really good at all the other parts. The materials in the studio. I even make all my own paints. I just can never do the actual sitting down and doing art part. She just looks so despondent. You wish you could do something, but you don't really know that much about art, and you probably can't stand up yet. So maybe not a maid, she's not actually all that creative. You tell her that she looks like she's moving in the right direction, at least. You don't even have a studio or any brushes or stuff like that. The mind thing makes more sense now. Of course, you have no aspirations to being a painter, but you leave that part out. That's just it. I feel inspired for the first time ever. I think it has to be your messed up, disgusting mutant blood. There's really no other explanation. She takes a knee beside you, picking up one of your limp hands with hers, They're cold, like she's been pressing them to a glass window in winter. Usually I just finish off my contributors quickly. I don't have time to deal with a bunch of injured lowbloods moaning around my studio. But I couldn't just use up your blood all at once. You're far too special for that. You gaze at Amisia. A mist has descended over your vision, and it isn't even the mist of imminent death. I have to keep this precious blood safe. I think you might be my muse. You will never escape. Friends? Oh boy. Okay. So, my original thoughts were probably a creative class because she's an artist. Turns out, she's not an artist. She's just, like, very methodical about things, and, like, she's very much more about, like, the mind thing makes so much more sense now. She's acting like an artist. She isn't an artist, she's acting like one. So the way she goes about acting like stuff is very methodical, very precise, very, like, getting all her ducks in a row, but to the point of, like everything up to and actually doing art, which she seems to, like, fall apart because she's not creative type. So her class then should be something that's methodical in their approach, but not sort of creative, like maybe one that's sort of like stuck in certain patterns of reactions and stuff like that. But that could also be the mind sort of influencing her behaviors and stuff like that. The class is more ambiguous with her. She does have a friend. She does seem kind of active, wanting to do things for herself. Maybe the maid, or probably not the Sylph, but maybe the maid still applies just for that. Because she does seem very, like, childlike as well, which is another connection to Maid that's not necessarily creative oriented. But if she is like a young maid of mind, then coming into her own, being inspired, and becoming an artist finally, that's a fulfillation of her god tier, which would be a maid of mind. So nothing else is really popping into my head. I would say potentially Knight, but she doesn't strike me as anything in common with Lutula. Because Knights also do have that idea of, like, they pretend to be something to hide the fact that they think they aren't good enough. So it's a possibility. But there is also that Knight of Mind is like Lutula is already, so I don't know if they would, like, do that again, or just have, like, a different version of that. I feel like Maid is a bit more likely than Knight. Rogue, I don't think so at all. She doesn't seem to have anything in common with Rogue. Thief, probably not, no. She doesn't really seem to be, like, taking things from anybody, except blood. But then she would be a thief of blood, I feel like, not a thief of mind. Yeah, probably not Major Seer. There was that line about trying to manipulate you, so, like, maybe a witch. But witches are more, like, rebellious. Missy is more stuck in a pattern and, like, stuck in, like, this idea of what she thinks it means to be an artist. Witch wouldn't be really all that much concerned with that. As for, like, the other one is Prince and Bard. Nah, I don't think so. Like, princes have to learn not to destroy themselves by getting caught up into their aspect too much. She's overthinking the process of creation, she's being too mindy about it, and therefore she's struggling to create at all. And the Prince class might even be another factor of, like, how she's struggling with that as well. So, yeah. There's not really a solid, like, direction, more like a few thoughts and a few different classes that are probably all wrong. So, yeah, Maid, Knight, Prince, probably. Between those three, I'm kind of stuck. I'd have to see more about her. She is definitely mind, and I can definitely understand how she got the mind aspect for sure, though. But the class is a lot more ambiguous. Okay. So on to the third one. I'm going through these pretty quick, actually. Of ladies a grey and loose eye white. Putting one foot in front of the other, you continue on through this strange alien world. Just when you think his stuff is beginning to make sense, it all slips through your fingers and becomes even stranger and more alien. There does, however, seem to be one thing that remains constant throughout all planets and walks of life. That thing is friendship. You are on the prowl for more. It would have perhaps been wise to stay with one of your wonderful new friends until you are fully healed. But as Martha Stewart said, visitors like fish begin to smell after 3 days. You're almost positive Martha Stewart said that. Nevertheless, you soldier on in your endless quest for companionship. Where will your travels take you next? So I'm actually much more curious to see her, because she's a Jade Blood, and anything new about Jade Bloods is like, ooh. Like, she looks cute too, but I'm definitely starting with Bronya. You've been traveling through a cave network for a while now. The rigid stone is a welcome respite from the eerily organic infrastructure you've been encountering, but it is also proving an unwelcome respite from friend-making. Maybe it was too much to hope for, that this cavern would be home to another potential new buddy. Maybe leaving the big city behind was a horrible mistake. Just maybe, these dark, cold tunnels are completely devoid of, oh hang on, there's a bunch of buildings in the distance. Ooh. I like your theme song tune as well. Meh. Oh, hello. I thought you were one of my girls, but you don't look like a Jade Blood, or anything else actually. How strange. You convey your usual spiel regarding your circumstances. You are lost and lonely, and your ribs are still broken, you think? Honestly, the ribs are fine. You could just use another friend or two. I see. My first responsibility is to my Jades and the Mother Grub, so I can't make any promise of friendship just yet. But you do look like you need someone to take care of you. Here in the brooding caverns, we follow very few simple rules. She has like double V's. Huh. 1. Don't invite drama up from up top down below. Protect the Mother Grub. 3. We have no hierarchy, but do what I say. Let's do everything we can to keep up our current record of dozens of sweeps without any Jades being culled. Oh, that's a pretty good record. No Jades at all. You're not sure what half of those words mean, but you nod your head. Good, I'll take you to our hive. Follow me. You follow her into her hive, which looks like a school or some kind of dormitory, with multiple rooms and multiple floors. Usually more of my Jades are around. I suppose that everyone is out watching the Imperial drones arrive with their filial pails. Girls, we have a visitor to our caverns. 1. Do not be alarmed by the bizarre appearance. They seem to be harmless and quite weak. 2. Do not give them more injuries than they already have. Our visitor deserves a warm Jade-blooded welcome. She claps her hands, but no one else is around, but you stand to attention and give her the thumbs up to show you that you read her loud and clear. You notice that she called you visitor and not friend, but that's okay. You can do whatever it takes until you're upgraded from visitor to friend, or at least charity case. No, they're just like floating in the sober slime. You follow her upstairs, and she stops at a big room on the 2nd floor. When you step into it, you have to clap your hand over your mouth to keep from gagging at the revolting sight. There are big baby-sized larva-looking things all over the floor, squirming around and crying and inchworming out of kiddie pools of green slime. What the hell? This is our nursery. Most of these wigglers are sick or injured, so we look after them in here until they're well enough to go back into the caverns and spin their cocoons. She looks shifty all of a sudden, giving you some side-eye like she's sizing you up. You try to look very non-threatening and also 100% trustworthy. We keep this nursery on the down low. It's not against any laws, but it's something of a break with tradition to save any of the grubs instead of just letting them die. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure why we do it. I guess it just feels right to me to take care of them, the same way I take care of my Jades. A nursery, huh? You look around with this new information. You guess you can sort of see how the wigglers look like babies. You can't believe that... Oh, that just... Yeah, it actually just gave me a classpect thought. That sounds slightly roguish, like Robin Hoodie, like saving them, like... It's not exactly against the law, but you're doing this kind of thing, you know, saving the poor and the downtrodden. Slightly roguish. You can't believe that one of these things could grow up to anything that looks like Bronya, but this is an alien planet, so who knows? She takes you over to a shelf where she seems to hold medical supplies. You're not sure what can be done for your broken ribs, but maybe she has some kind of alien technology that can help. But when she starts going through the cabinet, you don't see anything that looks high-tech like the thing that fixed your arm. I guess that most of what we have is stuff from the wigglers, and I'm not familiar enough with your bizarre anatomy to know if it will help. But if you're not completely sure how to do something, it's best to try anyway. So she doesn't always have her, the little double V's. 1. Even if you fail, everyone else can still learn from your mistake. 2. Maybe you won't fail. You never know. You're not so sure about applying this ethos to your broken ribs, but she looks so determined. It might be rude to say no. She is very concerned about rules. Let's see. Oh, what is your aspect? I gotta check that. Bronya, you are breath-bound. That's interesting, because you're so concerned about rules. Okay, go for it. My rib's already broken, so where's the harm? Thanks, but no thanks. I'll heal on my own just fine. Go for the top one. Okay, come here. Lift up your shirt so I can get to your injured bellow sac enclosures. Yes, like that. Turn the part that's all bloody and horrifying towards me. She has something that looks like some kind of ointment? It's a shade of bright green, similar to the slime beds you see around the nursery, and it also seems to be glowing. Seems like there's nothing wrong about applying it to your skin. but despite your optimism, the second Bronya rubs some of it onto your broken skin, you could feel a searing hot pain like you just got doused with poison. You flinch back instinctively, your momentum carries you too far, and you step back, you trip on something behind your feet. You cartwheel your arms, but it's no use. You're going down, you're yelling timber. You feel something soft and squishy break your fall, and you hear a terrible squelching noise and some kind of animal squeal. You have fallen right into one of the wigglers. You roll off it, but there's no use. It's squished flat, and you're covered in olive fluid that you think might be its blood. You look up to see Bronya's horrified face, and know that there is no hope for friendship in those vengeful eyes. You might want to run before I throw you out this window and break the rest of your bones. Yeah, she's definitely a rogue. Alternia's deadliest ass. Oops. I'm definitely feeling rogue vibes for her. I don't know why, but it just seems the appropriate thing. Alright, so the correct thing to do is not take the help. Be self-sufficient. Self-sufficient, independent. Thanks, but no thanks. I'll heal on my own just fine. Oh, well, if you're sure. I'm worried about you, though. You seem like you need help, and I wish I could help you more. I can't even take care of someone. I'm not even sure how we can ever truly be friends. That's another point for rogue. Rogues feel very inadequate about their own self-worth and their ability to do things like that. You try to cheer her up, pointing out that friendship is a two-way street. After all, she doesn't have to concern herself with your mutilated frame. How can you help her instead? Well, sure, there are things around here that I could use some assistance with. However, don't take this the wrong way, but we've only just met. I don't know that I can trust you to be as responsible as I am. It's not easy to be the one in charge. You have to be 1. Conscientious, 2. Considerate, and 3. Confident, at all times. There is that whole thing about, she could be a Sylph, because she is very focused on rules, guiding others, responsibility, taking things into her own hands, that kind of thing. But she is also a jade blood, so I have no idea how much of that is just naturally part of her class. You know, it's natural to be sort of Sylph-like when you're a jade blood. The thing that makes me so sure that she's a rogue is that her jade blood-like behaviors are things more intrinsic to what she's doing. Which is stealing away all these sick and injured young trolls, where a normal jade blood, a normal regular Sylph would be like, well maybe not a Sylph. Sylph would try to heal it, but a jade blood would try to be like, well, just let them die. You try to think of times in your life when you've been conscientious, considerate, or competent. You're drawing a bit of a blank, but hey, new planet, new you. You assure her that you have what it takes. I guess if you want to prove that you can be responsible, I can let you help me out today. It's a good time for a visit to the mother grub. You're careful as you step around all the little guys on the floor as you head out the nursery. She takes you back outside, and these caverns are even bigger than you first realized. They're also dark and cold and gloomy, and you can't see anywhere that might lead up to the planet's surface. So that's interesting, though. The J-Bloods naturally live underground, as a whole cities and everything, and no drama from up top, so there's a bit of a disconnect. That's interesting. So Kanai is actually a strange one, that she lives up top on the surface in the daylight. Does she really just live down here all the time? To make some conversation during this cold hike in a damp cave, you mentioned that living underground like this seems kind of depressing. You realize too late that this wasn't very tactful, but she doesn't get angry at your conversational gambit of insulting her home. Oh no, it's very peaceful down here. Well, in comparison to anywhere else. I quite enjoy it. The brooding caverns are a place for life and birth, not death. That's pretty uncommon for Alternia. You're still not sure what she means by brooding caverns, but you guess it has something to do with the wigglers in her nursery. Before you can ask, you reach the top of a ridge and get a new wider view of the rest of the cavern. It's enormous, probably the size of a small city. All over the cave floor you see more wigglers crawling everywhere. Cocoons line the cave walls and the larger stalagmites, with some young trolls crawling onto them. Walking, flying, and crawling among the wigglers and young trolls are a variety of white monsters of all kinds and shapes and sizes. Ooh, had a Lusus pick there. In the center of the cavern there is, you don't even know how to describe it. It looks like a huge, many-legged queen bug of some kind with a goat-shaped skull and horns coming out of her head. Her bulbous sphincter ripples as she lays a continuous stream of hundreds of eggs, from which you assume the grey wigglers will hatch. And marching all through this, you see several hulking bipedal creatures, each carrying 2 buckets either to or away from the mother grub. They look armed and they move like regimented troops, soldiers of some kind. You are instinctively terrified of them. This is where the magic happens, and by that I mean the continuation of our species. Jadebloods like myself are entrusted with looking after this process, which is of course a very special job. The Imperial drones carry filial pails of genetic material to the mother grub for her slurry. 2. She lays eggs that hatch new grub foods. 3. After the wrigglers emerge from the cocoons, the new trolls will go through the trials, and the ones that make it will be selected by a Lusus to help care for them.
4. Together the young troll and their Luci go up to the surface together, where the trolls will grow up or get cold or whatever. As Bronya explains troll reproduction to you, one of the Imperial drones veers sharply to the left and in the process tramples over a few wrigglers and the young trolls. The drone continues on, but several of the Luci cry out, crowding around their dead or injured charges. One of them, a gigantic beast that resembles a bison, bellows and rears up on its hind legs, hitting one of the other Luci with its front hoof.
Oh geez, not again.
This kind of damage control is a lot of what we have to deal with. Whenever a Lusus goes rogue out of grief or confusion, there's the potential for it to lash out at other Luci, the wigglers, or the mother grub herself.
We jade buds cannot let that happen.
She looks so concerned, a marked contrast to how confident she seemed before now. You offered her to help her out earlier, and it seems like now there's your chance. Something has to stop that rogue Lusus, and that someone could be you? Fight the monster, save the day. You've got this. The bison Lusus seems to be causing quite a ruckus. Other Luci have now gotten riled up too, with some of them trying to gather wrigglers to keep them out of harm's way, and others just getting hyped to thrash. It seems like it could turn into a monster stampede, and they're close to the mother grub's big, soft, vulnerable abdomen. Not great. Fighting a monster single-handed seems like a daunting first step in a friendship, but you did tell her you could be responsible. You square your shoulders and tell Bronya she has nothing to worry about. You're going to stop that Lusus, calm down all the other Luci, and protect the mother grub, all without breaking a sweat, and hopefully without breaking any more bones, either. Whoa there, I was going to suggest that I go after it while you stay here. You seem kind of weak and fragile, even apart from your injuries, I mean. I don't want you to get hurt, worse, and I'm not sure I trust anyone other than myself to take the lead on this. That wasn't quite the reaction you were hoping for. Normally you would be all about sitting back and letting her protect you, because, well, protective and responsible is a good look for her. But desperate times call for desperate measures, and you don't know how else you're going to prove yourself worthy to be her friend. You do your best to project an air of confidence, or at least competence. You assure her that this is no sweat for you. You take down raging bison back on your home planet all the time. You're known for it, actually. Well, if you say that this isn't your first ungulate roping gallop exhibition, I believe you. I'll hang back to let you give it a shot. But if it gets too overwhelming in there, I'm right here. 1. Caring for the mother grub is my responsibility as a jade blood. 2. I'd never abandon a friend to deal with the mess on their own, even if we end up being friends, that is. Oh, hell yes, now you have reason to hope. Oh boy. You approach the rampaging bison with caution. Do all bison have horns like that? Maybe they do. You're no bison expert, but you're pretty sure they don't all have teeth that nasty. The bison on Earth mostly eat grass, don't they? This guy doesn't look like a herbivore. At first you try to calm the Lusus down by talking to it, but your soothing words have no effect. In fact, you might have just made it even angrier by suggesting that it pause and take some deep breaths in reaction to its trampled charge. You're not even sure it can understand human speech, come to think of it. You circle around it, wishing you had some kind of lasso or something. Maybe you can herd it away from the mother grub. You look around to see if any of the other Luci look vaguely like Earth's shepherd dogs, but no dice. You hesitate too long and the Lusus turns away, its furious eyes falling on the mother grub. It stamps its hooves, snorts air out of its nostrils, and screams in a way that sounds a lot more hellish than you imagine normal bison are capable of. It's obviously about to charge, and you can only think of one thing to do. In desperation, you leap forward and tackle it football style, doing everything you can with your flimsy human body to drag it onto its side. It half works. You plow into the Lusus and stop it in its tracks, but it topples over onto a nest of wigglers, taking you down with it. Wigglers and young trolls go bouncing everywhere, squealing in distress, and the Luci descend upon you in rage. Everything is chaos for a while. You're trapped beneath the bison Lusus, which is very worrying for all its body parts, and you think it might feel something important rupturing inside you. But hey, on the bright side, this crushing mess is protecting you from all the other pissed-off Luci trying to attack you. Just as your whole breathing situation is starting to get dicey, you hear a commotion in what sounds possibly the trouncing of some smaller Luci that were trying to get to you. The crowd of beasts around you scatters, and then you hear her. Oh, the only thing is, too, is if she's a rogue, then she's a breathplate, and she's a rogue of death, which means she's similar to Rufio, which is, like, interesting? Again, same problem with Amisia being maybe a Knight of Mind. Not really a problem, but just, like, an interesting, like, it could happen, but... The crowd of beasts around you scatters, and then you hear her. Ugh, I'm having a hard time getting this thing off you, and he's still very angry. He keeps trying to kick me. Where's a bronze blood when you need one? You don't know what that means, but you're very grateful that she's here to help you. You try to communicate this, but it comes out garbled from all the blood in your mouth. Maybe don't try to speak, or move, or help. You experience a sinking feeling that could be related to your diminishing odds of impressing Bronya and becoming her friend. Or it could be the compression of all your internal organs. Either way, it's tough to feel optimistic right now. But before you can give in to complete despair, you hear other voices. Your view is blocked out by the mass of bison flesh on top of you, but could it be? Are these other people here to save you? Finally! I was wondering where you all had gotten off to. Let's all work together, girls! You, 1. You 2 grab his horns to keep the head still and keep it from biting anyone. 2. The rest of you come around with me to its backside so we can push it without getting kicked. You hear some grunting and muttering, and the bison starts making noises that sound more confused and less furious. The pressure and pain on your chest briefly spike in intensity as the thing weight shifts, and then they must succeed in dragging it off you because suddenly you can breathe again. But the crisis is not yet over. While you're still testing the use of your lungs and blinking up at the cavern ceiling, you hear a new cacophony of enraged monster noises. Uh-oh, the other Luci are still agitated. Get down there and try to calm them down. Protect the mother grub. You try to lift yourself to see what's going on, but putting any weight on your arms makes you feel like maybe all your bones got turned into confetti. Painful, painful confetti. You feel strong hands propping you up gently, and now your head is in Bronya's lap. You try to focus more on how this is a nice place for your head to be, and less on the pain. This is not good. I don't know if my jades can reach the stampede in time, and the mother grub could get injured, not to mention all those wigglers in danger. Oh no. You didn't think the situation could get any worse, but now you see that several of the Imperial drones that have been about to leave the cavern are turning back, drawn by all the noise and chaos. But maybe this could be a good thing? Maybe they can instill some order? Fuck, they're going to kill everyone! She scrambles to your feet, and in the process letting your head whack down on the cave floor. Your vision swims, but you can still make out the drones firing indiscriminately, at the Luci, at the grubs and wigglers, and at the jade bloods. Oh shit. One laser beam skims the side of the mother grub's massive midsection, and her scream is so loud that the ceiling shakes, and a few stalactites shake loose, falling on drones and Luci and wigglers alike. It's a total catastrophe. A whole rainbow's worth of troll, wiggler, and Lusus blood is splattering the cavern walls. Bronya seems paralyzed by the chaos, looking from her jades to the mother grub to the imperiled wigglers like she's not sure who to help first. I can't believe it. This is the worst disaster we've ever had down here. And all because I thought I could sit back and let someone else be responsible for once. If I were a less secure person, I could let this moment plant a seed of self-doubt in my mind about my ability to take care of others and do my job well. Or I could chalk it up to you being really fucking stupid. You shrink under the weight of her glare. She's green in the face from how angry she is. You swallow and manage to spit out enough blood to ask a question that you know is hopeless. Does this mean you can't be friends? Are you serious right now? I do not make friends with anyone who recklessly endangers the trolls and wigglers under my care. You killed them all. Game over. Oh, rainbow of blood and death. Let's try that again. I am feeling very much like rogue vibes from her, but she's also like going on and on about responsibility as well, and that seems more Sylph-like as well. I don't want to say Sylph like just because though, because those traits are also very jade blood-like as well. And it's the same like sort of problem with like I had like the volume 1 with her like possibly being a light player. It's like, or possibly being a witch because they're manipulative and blue bloods and that kind of thing. So there's certain cast traits that you aren't sure if they're specific to the person or specific to the cast itself. But yeah, the roguish ones, the traits that she has stand out to me more because those are specifically not jade blood traits to have, right? So we'll see. Alright, let's try this again. So I want to refuse her help, and then I want to be a weenie. You definitely do not like the idea of wading into a monster fight, not even to save the progenitor of your new friend's species. In fact, you don't like that Bronya is so focused on protecting all these helpless toddlers and distressed animals instead of taking care of you. You stammer out that you don't think you can take on any kind of monster right now. In fact, you've felt another stab of pain in your ribs. You might be blacking out. Bronya's concerned face turns in your direction as you start to swoon. She catches you before you hit the ground, and your heart flutters. You look up at her serious face, and she looks like such a mom, but also such a friend, like some sort of combination of those two concepts, the mom friend. Yikes, you don't look so good. I can't leave you alone, not when you're in such bad shape. Maybe I could carry you on my back while I try to stop the rampaging Lusus? Your heart flutters, turns to pinpricks of alarm. That sounds dangerous, mainly for you. You try to think of what you can say to dissuade her, something other than, I think you should ignore the helpless babies and mother in danger behind you in favor of continuing to hold me in your strong arms. But before you can speak, you hear a commotion behind her. She turns to look over your shoulder, and her face sags with relief. Yes, the other jades are here. They should know what to do. We've taken care of crises like this before. Of course, I'm there to help. If you crane your neck, you can just glimpse a crowd of trolls corralling the rogue Lusus away from the mother grub, while the other trolls calm the remaining Luci and swoop up any wigglers in harm's way. It looks like I needn't have worried. They're more than capable of stepping in while I'm otherwise occupied. I'm so proud. You take this opportunity to compliment her on what a good leader she must be, to have trained the others so well. Super smooth. She beams at you and sets you down carefully on the cavern floor, kneeling at your side. This could have gone quite badly. I'm glad I didn't make the wrong choice when I stayed to help you instead of rushing off. It just goes to show sometimes the best thing you can do for the group is to take care of the weakest person in it. You kind of want to object to being called the weakest person, but you did just fake a fainting spell for attention, so maybe now isn't the best time. Instead, you thank her sincerely for sticking by your side. The two of you watch together as order is gradually restored to the chaos below, and even with your injuries, you feel close to content and quite hopeful about how this relationship is progressing. You notice that at your side, several wigglers are blindly squirming around, confused and crying. There are some young trolls here too, looking all around lost and bereft. You're not sure if their Luci ran off with the others that got involved with the fracas, or if these little guys are orphans now. Neither you're seeing them in the natural cavern light. The wigglers look less like maggots to you. In fact, they're even kind of cute. You can see why Bronya would want you to take care of them. One of the smallest wigglers closest to you has somehow flipped himself over onto his back and seems unable to right himself, his little legs waving in the air while he cries. Trying to be careful with your ribs, you reach out to scoop him up and cradle him to your chest, rocking him back and forth until his quiet quiet down. Wow, you have a very strong nurturing instinct. I think he likes you. You almost look like you could be his Lusus, or a jade blood. You are pleased that she approves of your caretaking display.
I mean, he is like the MS Paint reader. He is like a completely white alien, so he could be a Lusus.
The wiggler's cough breaks through your haze of smug satisfaction, and when you look down, you realize that he seems to have some trouble breathing. You point this out to Bronya. Good observation. You really are a natural at taking care of other creatures, aren't you? Some people find that nurturing ability to be very attractive in a potential friend. But as for the wiggler, this is definitely not a good sign. I'm surprised none of these drones have noticed that he's sick. If we leave him here, he'll be cold for sure. Bronya takes the wiggler from you, and you're more than happy to hand him over, considering that you have no idea what to do with a sick baby that's not your species. Also, your broken ribs make holding a baby kind of painful, and Bronya holds the wiggler carefully but with perfect ease, just like you hope she'll cradle your new friendship in its infancy. Once Bronya feels assured that her jades have the situation of the brooding caverns under control, you take the wiggler back to the jade blood nursery. You hover around uselessly while Bronya sets up some kind of crib filled with green slime. You're a little concerned when she takes the wiggler and submerges him under the slime, because, like, he was already having trouble breathing? Surely drowning him in slime won't help? The Sylph should strengthen his bellow sacs and soothe his sorrow shoot. When he gets healthy again, I'll take him back to the cavern and set him free to make his compute and pupae. But he's so small, it's unlikely that she'll survive the trials or be selected by a Lusus. You hate to see Bronya looking sad. You try to be sympathetic, mentioning your astute observation that this whole system set up with the wigglers and the trials and the killing seems pretty brutal. What? Oh no, I would never suggest. This is just the way the world works, and it's fine, it's fine. The trials are how young trolls prove that they're strong enough to survive. It's only right for the weak to be culled. It's the purpose of jade bloods to ensure the continuation of our species, and consequently the hemo spectrum. 1. We are not revolutionaries. 2. We're meant to do our jobs and keep our heads down and keep things running smoothly. 3. I would never presume to question the basic tenets of Alternian society. That would bring negative attention from the high lords, and I just want to keep my jade safe. You look around at the nursery and all those injured or undeveloped wigglers that Bronya was apparently supposed to let die. You think it might not be true that she doesn't question the way her world works. She's looking at you like she's scared you'll collar on it and expose your altruistic tendencies. You try to salvage this conversation thread. Did you say that culling wigglers sounded brutal? You meant neutral. Yes, you feel 100% neutral on this topic, neither committed to the culling side of things, nor eager to take up arms in revolution. Ah yes, neutral is how I feel about it as well. What a good word to describe exactly how I feel all controversial political subjects. Did I mention that keeping this nursery isn't technically illegal? Because it isn't, technically. There's no reason for any of Triss's drones to come investigating our hive. If any drones do come knocking, we have nothing to hide. No borderline revolutionary ideas will be tolerated within these walls. Bronya laughs nervously and looks around the room like she's making sure that any Imperial drones hiding in here heard her announcement. You feel bad for how nervous she is. You didn't mean to freak her out. You tell her that she sounds super convincing, and why shouldn't she, because she's clearly telling the truth. If you were an Imperial drone, you would definitely be satisfied right now with her clearly law-abiding and neutral ways. Thank you, that means a lot. You cast about for something to change the subject, and she mentions that your ribs are feeling a bit better. Bronya's face brightens, and she lifts up your arm gently so that she can touch the injured part of your torso, examining it in her typically responsible and authoritative way. You shiver and wonder if her touch has healing properties. I'm glad to hear that. After all, I don't like it when my friends suffer. Your heart leaps. You look up, scarcely allowing yourself to hope. Could it be, or was she just making a general statement? If you're not in any more pain, hopefully that means your injuries will heal soon. I'll take care of you until then, my friend. You are overcome. Your eyes fill with tears. Bronya smiles at you and squeezes your hand. Self-care comes first. Victory! Friendship! Yay! Okay, so my thoughts for her are pretty... She's either a rogue or a sylph. Rogue or sylph seem pretty solidified for me, for those two. There we go. Okay, so now for the final one, which should be Skylla. And she's interesting to me because she's time-bound. So we get to see a bit more of a time player, so that's cool. Friendship, friendship, friendship. Skylla Koriga. As dawn approaches, you find yourself heading out of the big city and into the rustic outskirts. Man, the sun sure is bright on this planet. It's rising over the crest of the distant hills, a huge fiery ball. The later it gets, the bigger it grows, the way bigger than you've ever seen in the sun on Earth. What's that smell? Could it be your flesh beginning to sizzle? Fantastic, you love the country. No wonder the nightlife seems so active on Alternia. They're all nocturnal to avoid brutal daily roasting. You reach into your pocket for your cool new shades, but you appear to have left them at your friend's house. Fuck. You've got to get yourself together. The recent physical trauma and extensive blood loss has you a little fuzzy. You weren't built for this wilderness survival shit. You're starting to wish you'd just stolen a fucking Lamborghini or something instead of a spaceship. This seriously isn't looking good. You stole a spaceship, what? This seriously isn't looking good. The city is too far away now for you to turn back, so you have no choice but to keep walking. Maybe you can find a cave or a hole in the ground. Maybe you can just cover yourself with grass. You wish that someone had mentioned the Death Sun in between offering you alien meat products and calling you their muse. Off to your left in the distance, you catch sight of what might be the shimmer of sunlight on glass. A window? A solar panel? You could seriously clean up with renewable energy on this planet. Should you change your trajectory and go towards the shimmer, it might just be a mirage. Go towards the shimmer. You turn your aching, stinging meat sack towards the distance promising sparkle of safety and succor. You're focused on just staying upright, or one step at a time. Just keep swimming or whatever. God, the sun though. You need SPF 5 million for this nonsense. But then, almost like it has picked itself up to come scuttling to meet you, you find yourself in front of a long, low structure. You let out a yelp of anguish, pounding on the door. At least you hope it's the door. What in the world? The door opens and you fall inside with one of the pathetic whimpers of your canoe. The blessed darkness closes in on you. From right beside you comes a sniffling yip, like some joker is making fun of your dire situation. Something warm and wet glides up your stinging cheek. Hold on, lady! Give him some room! A pair of hands help you sit up gently. Your eyes haven't adjusted enough to make out more than a couple shapes, one upright and one lower to the ground. What are you doing out there? Can you stand? Strong arms pull you to your feet. You wonder if everyone on this planet is as strong, or if you're just extremely flimsy. They guide you to a chair at the end of a long table. Stutteringly, you begin to explain yourself that you are an injured, exhausted traveler who is ravenous for pals. Well, bless your heart, but hold on a tick. Dinner's about to burn. Now that your rescuer mentioned something, you do smell something. It smells amazing. Funny you should just blunder in here like that. I was just saying, wasn't I, lady? It's been so long since we had any sort of guests who weren't Imperial drones or out to rob us. You rub at your watering, slowly clearing eyes, and when you look back at your rescuer, it finally comes into focus. She's tall. Taller than anyone you've met here, you think. Also, maybe a little older? Not that you're an expert in troll physiology, she just has an air of knowledgeable competence. She's wearing a fringed jacket and holding up a plate. There you go. Your oculars feeling any better? By the way, my name's Skylla. Pleasure to meet you. And this here's Lady. That's a terrifying dog, Lusus. She looks down and at first you think she means the table, but then you look under the table at the giant monster dog looking up at you. You jolt so hard you fly backward out of your goddamn chair. Whoa there! No need for theatrics. It looks like a little like one of those lassie dogs with a pointed nose, except enormous and pure white. It barks practically shake the whole house. Hey there, lady. No need to be rude. They've clearly had one of hell of a time and they don't look dangerous. Just really peculiar. Besides, if they try anything, you and me can take them. Skylla puts her hands on her hips, staring at you down with thunderous yellow eyes. Right? No funny business, you hear? You swallow and nod, trying to look unthreatening and obliging, ready for anything. For instance, friendship. You are so ready for friendship. Skylla sits on the plate that she's holding. Here, have a grub cake. There's plenty. That sounds gross as hell, but what's sitting on the plate looks and smells exactly like a normal pancake, golden brown and crispy at the edges. There's boiled tree blood too, if you like. Boiled tree blood? Trees have blood? Also, churned dairy product. She puts down a carafe. Oh, right, maple syrup. Yeah, and a dish of butter. Man, everything here has really weird names. Skylla pours out a cup of some very familiar smelling liquid. Brown bean juice, I guess. Skylla raises an eyebrow. No, that's just coffee. She sits down next to you. You're lucky you were only out in the light of dawn. Nobody wants to be out in direct Alternian sunlight besides jade bloods. And no offense, but you certainly aren't any jade blood that I've ever seen. At first, I thought you were some sort of mutated Lusus, because you don't have horns and you were grunting and yipping up a storm back there. But you're an alien, right? Don't worry, I won't call the drums. I best get used to being around aliens anyway. Seeing as I'm gonna be seeing a whole mess of y'all come next week. She laughs nervously. You aren't sure what she's talking about. Do you even need to specify that anymore? It's just natural law at this point. Gravity, the conservation of energy, and you don't know what the fuck is going on. Lady, would you mind drawing a bath for our guest? No offense, but you smell like a unicorn. You can't argue with that. You offer her a cautious smile. God, she seems so nice and caring, but you've been burned before, and cut, and generally kicked around by fate. It's a tough world out there, but you want to trust Skylla. Lady takes a bucket into her muzzle and runs out into the yard, getting up on her hind legs and batting at the door latch to open it. It's adorable. The sun is high enough now that the whole landscape outside is washed in white. Oh god, the dog! Oh, sweet of you to worry. Lucy are fine to go outside. Lucy are fine going outside for a little while in the daylight. Their coat reflects light or something to that effect. Ah, interesting. That's why they're pure white. That's a really neat fact. I don't really know how it works. I ain't exactly known for my scientific acumen. You tell her that she seems pretty smart from where you're standing. As cynical as you're becoming, you can't just help trying to be her friend. She's so nice and, wow, really pretty. Not that that's a requirement for friendship, but your retinas would have been way more scalded than they are to not to notice that. That's nice of you to say, but it wouldn't really matter even if I was a bona fide genius. Someone I've cast could never hope to rise up in the ranks. Best I can hope for is hauling crates and some cargo vessel. Ranks, cargo vessel. You swallow your bite of grub cake, ready to ask her if she's thinking about joining the military, but just then a swell of noise erupts from outside the house. Shouts, crashes, and ladies' frantic barks. Skylla gasps and launches herself out of a chair, knocking over the carafe of syrup. It oozes across the tabletop in a sticky wave. Oh no, not now! What the hell's going on? Bandits! Goddamn Lusus thieves! Lusus thieves? I just had an interesting thought too, like how jade bloods seem to raise the actual trolls themselves. Brown bloods seem to raise the Lusi. Not farming them for meat or anything, because they don't seem to eat Lusus meat, they seem to just eat, cannibalism, troll grubs and all that. But, Lususes have those, or brown bloods have those powers over Lusi and animals for a reason, so, she must be a Lusus farm, which is really interesting. It's like the other half of a jade blood. But, jade bloods have their own special status as propagating the species, and Lusus are such an intrinsic part of that, but brown bloods don't seem to have any special status at all. You don't get the chance to ask anything else before Skylla careens up towards the door, throwing up an arm as a blazing white light pours in. Oh god, she's going to go outside and burn up. She isn't thinking straight. You've got to do something. Stop her or help her? Let's try stop her, because that's going to make it hard. Skylla is bigger than you, and she has the strength of both desperation and a superior genome, so you don't feel great about your chances. But you have to try. Skylla is too upset to be careful. You have to stop her from hurting herself. You stumbled into her house all gross and pathetic and alien, and she didn't turn you away. She gave you pancakes, for Christ's sake. Grub cakes, whatever. And it isn't just the sun. From the number of voices, there's gotta be 20 people out there. She doesn't stand a chance. You run up behind her and hook your arms under hers, hauling her back by the armpits. She struggles, jabbing her elbow into your aching ribs. Let me go! You don't understand, they'll take her! Lady! You hold grimly on, going limp and using gravity and your own dead weight to pull her down to the floor. Through wheezing breaths, you tell her that she can't go out there. Didn't she just tell you that you'd never survived if it hadn't been later than dawn? You probably aren't making much sense, but you keep up a stream of worthless bullshit until something catches. Would your Lusus really want this for you, Skylla? Would Lady really want you to sacrifice yourself for her? Skylla goes rigid, and then all the fate just drains out of her like blood down a drain. She sags back into your arms. The two of you watch Lady thrashing in a huge black net as several of the figures haul her away. The sun is too bright to see them clearly, but they appear to be herding more white creatures out of a paddock and into a collection of vehicles. A herd. She says it quietly, you feel it more than you hear it. You continue to watch as Lady is packed into one of the vehicles, and they drive away, kicking up the clouds of dust that glimmer into the brutal sun. You can let me go now. I'm not going to throw myself out into the daylight like a romance novel heroine. You realize just how tight you're holding onto her and loosen up your arms, pulling away and sitting up. Skylla's cheeks are wet with tears, but she quickly shakes her hair into her face to hide it. That makes your heart hurt. You want to tell her that everything is going to be okay, but you make it a point not to lie to your friends. You have absolutely no idea how it's going to be. Oh dear. And before you can say anything at all, she gets up and disappears through the door and further into the house. Only choice, give her some space. You decide to mind your own business. Well, you do try the door, but it's locked. Best to keep occupied and do what you can for her. First, you shut the door to keep up the sweltering heat and blinding light out. Then you tidy up the kitchen a little. Everything here is oddly textured and colored, the shape's unusually organic. Some of it is worryingly scuttling and alive. You do your best. You mop up the syrup and straighten the chairs. You're just trying to figure out how to get the sink to spit out some water into the dirty dishes when Skylla comes back out. Her eyes are dry and her hair's come back out of her face. Don't you worry about that. You're gonna break something. She plays with one of her beaded bracelets with nervous little fidgets of her fingers. I could never have taken those fellows by myself, especially not in broad daylight. I want to thank you for stepping in and stopping me. I was overwrought. You nod, accepting her thanks. She doesn't seem overwrought anymore, just numb. Wow, this is actually a legitimately terrible situation. Not even in a dumb zany way, like all the other horseshit that's happened to you recently. You wonder who those guys even were. Lusus babes. They come before, but always at night, and never in such large numbers. So Lady and me could always take them. I never expected anything like this. For them to come out in force like this in the middle of the day. She sits down at the table, putting her elbow in a patch of syrupy mist. You offer her the dishcloth, and she notices several little discolored patches on her arm. It looks like she got burnt just from having her arm out in the door for like half a minute and a half. You're really glad you didn't let her go out there. You've endured a lot of heinous shit on your short span on this planet, injuries, and lots of added insults to those injuries, but the time you spend with Skylla waiting for the sun to go down is some of the worst and most hopeless. You don't know what to say to help her. You aren't actually her friend. You aren't even the same species. The troll-Lusus relationship is a little confusing, but they seem to be a combination of caretaker and pet, more symbiotic than parent and child. Finally, it gets late enough to venture outside, and you follow Skylla out to the empty paddock. There's nothing out here but a broken fence and trampled ground. Lots of kids lose their Lusi. It's just part of life. I would have been heading into their deals next sweep anyway. I would never have seen her again. Huh. I never thought about that, but like, they don't bring their Lusus with them once they're adults, eh? It's purely just as like a child relationship. But at least I would have gotten the chance to say goodbye, you know? It's kind of a bummer how resigned everyone on this planet seems to terrible things happening. Then again, you guess that's sort of true on your planet too. Existence, just a goddamn mess. You try to give her the most understanding look you can. Just a really good and supportive friend face. You're killing it. But Skylla isn't paying attention to your glowing facade. She's reaching into her jacket and pulling out her phone. What the hell? The palm husk is blown up. Oh god. Skylla drops her phone in the dirt and claps a hand over her mouth. Her eyes sparkle with tears. You pick it up. It's kind of squishy and squirms in your hand a little, which you don't love. You also don't love what's on the screen. It's a troll in a mask, holding a gun on Lady, who is still in that net, burying her teeth. The gun looks fake, kind of like a Nerf gun. You bet it's not a Nerf gun. The photo was occupied by more of that spiky text you can't read. Hey, how can you understand the alternative spoken language, but not the written? You decide not to think about it too hard, waste your time. They sent a ransom demand. They say that if I can't pay, they'll sell her. Troll Lusi are valued for their strength all over the galaxy. The heiress knows about the black market, but she doesn't do anything about it. She just takes a cut. You ask her how much the ransom demands for, as if you have a penny to your name. She tells you a number that sounds stupidly large, without even knowing the exchange rate to Earth money. They're just mocking me. They know a bronze blood can't afford this. They just want to force me to fail her one more time. Her voice breaks on a sob. You reach over and put your hand on her arm. She looks at you with big watery eyes, and you brace her to fall into your arms sobbing. You're actually kind of hoping for it. Not that you're the type to want to profit off of another's pain, but you're pretty sure that offering comfort in a time of crisis is a first-class ticket to Friendsville. Instead, Skylla gives you a hard shove backward. You take 2 stumbling steps and fall on your ass. Something squishes underneath you, a cow pat or something alive? You aren't sure which you'd prefer, honestly. Sorry, I didn't actually push you that hard. Your species just seems pretty flimsy. I don't want any sympathy right now, especially not from you. She stands framed between the 2 moons, some trick of perspective making her look just as distant, and just as sad. Not that moons are inherently sad. Whatever, it's not the issue right now. Had Skylla been lying to you before when she said she didn't blame you? She even thanked you for stopping her from killing herself. No, I don't blame you. I just can't stand the sight of you. Looking at you just reminds me of losing Lady, and I don't think that'll ever change. Sorry. I really was hoping we could be friends. It's been a really long time since I've seen anybody out here that goes on 2 legs instead of 4. But I just don't think it's gonna work out. If you start walking now, you could probably make it to the city before sunrise. Or there's a jade bud crawling nearby, if you want to inflict your personal brand of assistance on them. Bye. You leave with your proverbial tail between your legs, and the last glimpse of you get of Skylla, she's standing next to the empty paddock staring at the ground. Oh dear, well this is a lot more sad. Game over. Holy crap, Skylla. I feel really bad for you now. Definitely the way, like, you initially reacted, which is like, you know, all gung-ho and like, I don't give a shit, this isn't possible, I do impossible things all the time. It's very time-bound. And this is the failure end, so if I don't hold her from going back outside in the sunlight, obviously she's going to succeed with something that should have killed her. So that's definitely time. But I just can't help but notice that time players, when faced with actual failure, do seem to get really depressed. Like, really viciously depressed. That seems to be like a weird trait for them all to share like that. Anyway, let's get right back into that.
Alright, I forgot to do this. I forget the shimmer. Because I picked obviously the correct one this time. Oh. Wow. That was instant death. Hold on, let me just see that not in fast motion. I mean, kind of obvious. Honestly, you could probably see this one coming. Burnt to death. Okay. Okay, so obviously, go towards the shimmer. And then help her. What the hell? You've already experienced the Alternian sun. It sucked a whole lot. Maybe now we'll suck less just because of how bad it sucked then. Just a sliding scale of suckage. Skylla plunges out into the daylight in the direction of the commotion, and like a big dumb asshole you barrel out into the blazing hellscape after her. Surprise, it still sucks. You've had sunburns before, but this is ridiculous. This is a fucking monster of a gas giant, pointing and laughing at the tiny speck of humanity you represent, trembling before the void. It's a pure assault in all your senses. The light is almost as bad as the heat, and you put up your arms to block the glare, followed by the dust Skylla kicks out behind her. You doubt your eyes will actually ever adjust to this fuckery, but you can still see a little better than before. There are about a dozen of them, all of them trolls, all wearing dark, padded outfits that cover their faces. They look halfway between hazmat suits and SWAT uniforms. All of them have big, fake-looking guns that probably aren't fake. In fact, one of them shoots a laser at your face. You duck, and it leaves a blazing heat trail across your cheek. But as all of you are currently burning, it doesn't really break your stride. Skylla throws herself into the fray, letting out a war cry accompanied by the sound of a fist-hitting flesh. It's 12 against 2, which, if you remember your fractions right, is not unlike 6 against 1. But these guys had probably not been expecting a frontal assault, and they'd definitely not been expecting a Skylla who was frankly fucking terrifying. She shoves 3 trolls down like dominoes, grabbing up a discarded gun and shooting all 3 while they're on the ground. You have never been in a fight before, a fucking all-out brawl. It's scary, but now that you're in the thick of it, it's also kind of awesome. Sure, your skin is burning and you could be killed at any moment, but that's just how it goes on this planet. You just gotta get up into the swing of things. Take no prisoners. Kill or be killed. Hell yeah. You pop up one of the bandit trolls in the face. Fuck, that probably hurt your fist more than it hurt the troll, but it does throw them off balance for long enough for Skylla to smash the butt of her gun into the side of their head. Yeehaw! Hell yeah! She gives you a wild grin. The two of you are beaming at each other while a hostile alien sun tries to boil away the liquid from your eyeballs, and a bunch of bandits try to dognap a giant monster. You love this girl. In a friendship way. But still, you love her. You make an awesome team. Another troll comes up behind Skylla and she smashes an elbow up into the throat, grabbing them by the front of their uniform and suplexing them to the dusty ground. She wails on them with her bare hands. God. She's really hot. Get lady! Oh right. You stumble over to where the Lusus is thrashing inside a big black net. You don't really have any way to cut her free, but she's already doing great on her own, fighting through the pirates with her big sharp teeth. You hold the net still for her to finish the job, then pull it off her so she can join the fray. It's over fast after that. How did they even get Lady into the net in the first place? She's so giant and quick, grabbing trolls in her jaws and shaking them like chew toys. The remaining 5 who are still standing jump into their weird little dune buggies and make tracks. Emphasis on the bug. They look like scuttling little beetles. Skylla chases after them for a few hundred yards, throwing the gun after them and shouting obscenities. And stay away, you hear? Tell the rest of them why you don't ever fuck with the Rusty's ranch. She stands silhouetted against the blazing sun, the dust trails vanishing into the distance. You are awash in a heady victory, giggling like a lunatic, before the adrenaline kind of drains out of you all at once. You are violently reminded of your fucked up ribs and recent blood loss. The Alternian sun beats down, and your arms are already covered in raised patches of red skin. This is a sunburn turned up to 11. This is skin cancer. Whoa there, are you okay? Skylla is swaying too. A spray of olive green blood covers her cheek. At least the rainbow blood on this planet means you can be sure it isn't hers, but she still looks rough, kind of how you feel. Lady! Come here, girl! Wow, you're gonna sit down. Maybe you just took a little break. The pale landscape swoops, going even paler. No, you can't rest here. You'll die, dumbass! I'm not letting anything happen to my new best friend. Get up! New best friend? Holy shit! That makes you so happy? You absolutely can't die here. Not when you've just made such an amazing friend. Somehow the two of you manage to drag each other across the yard and towards the house. Hive, you're gonna get this lingo down if it kills you. Whenever you feel yourself about to fall forward, you lean on Skylla. And when you start to fall back, Lady is there to brace herself against the back of your knees. She's such a good Lusus. You wonder if she'll be your friend too. Her muzzle is dripping with a soup of multicolored alien blood. When you get back into the darkness of the hive, you can't see shit. Dang, your species really ain't suited for this kind of environment, huh? You can't even see in the dark.
Its demonstration, you walk right into the table. You've about had it with tables. You are sworn enemies at this point. Please don't knock down my nutrition platform. I built it myself. She sounds exhausted but giddy. Dang, you really did that thing, didn't you? You kind of want to go in for the hug, but that sunburn is really something. It feels like tiny needles piercing your arms and cheeks. The back of your neck is a colony of fire ants. Oh yeah, feels real bad, don't it? Come on, there's only one cure for a sun rash. Skylla takes her hand. Gosh, this is the next level friendship stuff. She leads you through her hive, and who knows if you're ever going to get all of your vision back. Maybe you're just blind for life. You'll have to get a cane and a whimsical aesthetic, and learn to navigate the world by smell alone. No, that would be stupid. Here we go. My coop isn't huge, but you're kind of scrawny. What are you waiting for? Take your clothes off. Man, the sun must have fucked with more than just your eyes, because you could have sworn Skylla just told you to take your clothes off. You are seriously not getting into my recruiter room in those filthy rags. I'm not even sure what those clothes were supposed to be originally. Yeah, you aren't so sure about your look either. Another new friend of yours told you it was rad, but you were both a little high at the time. You might be a little high right now. You wonder if sunstroke causes auditory hallucinations. Also, you don't know what a recruiter raccoon is. Really? Then what the heck do you sleep on your planet? You hear rustling followed by the sound of goop, of clothes hitting the floor, and then a weird gloop gloop, like someone getting into a bathtub, only thicker. If a troll didn't have sulfur, well, I don't really know what would happen, but I reckon it wouldn't be great. It could speed the healing process for burns and small wounds. I'm not sure what it's going to do for your alien anatomy, but I don't see how it's going to make any worse. You tell Skylla that in your experience, things can always get worse, especially from her perspective right now, since she's about to see you naked. Nothing like a little self-depreciating humor as an A+ cover for crippling insecurity. Skylla laughs. Come on now. I'm sure you're a perfectly healthy example of your species. Just get in already. I promise this isn't any sort of pale solicitation. Or flushed for that matter. I know it's awkward, but I only got the one coop. Right, okay, yeah, you can totally do this. You can make this not weird. Of course, you trip taking off your own goddamn pants, and Skylla starts laughing all over again. Not in a mean way, more in a chill, please join me in my slime bathtub, old chum way. In a non-awkward way. In a friend way. Victory! She's laying across her. Oh boy. Yay, we're friends! Goddamn though, that one route where she gets all like super depressed is like, holy shit. Holy shit. It's quite a route. I think that's actually one of my favorite routes so far. Like out of all of the ones I've been through, because that was like, dang. That was like really dang. Okay, again, back to classes. I honestly think Skylla is like, she doesn't seem to be like very like having like certain things pop out to her. Like not even the sense that I could pin her as like an heir and be done with it, because she doesn't even have like the stuff about heirs. Honestly, the closest thing I could get to her is some kind of like warrior class. So I'm feeling either prince or knight. Knight of Time though is like Dave. And again, like it's the same problem with like the other two, like you don't want to put like so much onto the one thing. Something lesser for the knight though too is that she doesn't have any of the telltale signs of like the personality traits, the hiding who she is truly. She's very much wearing a heart on her sleeve kind of person, but she's also extremely active. I can definitely see her sort of like exactly what she did in the route, which is sort of like tumbling into things headfirst, not thinking things through. So I can probably see Prince for her, actually, thinking about it. Because princes have that whole, like, they can get extremely depressed. Actually, that's something that makes sense now. Yeah, Prince. She can get extremely depressed, just like Dirk got extremely depressed when he couldn't able to save his friends and do all this kind of stuff and be the warrior fighter. Like, I honestly do see Prince as more of the warrior class than the knight is supposed to be. And that's how Skylla seems to be as well. It fits with her, like, the Hiveswap bound aspects for time bound, for what that means, and, hold on, I gotta think my words through properly. I think Skylla is a prince because of the way she reacted when she wasn't able to do the impossible, when she wasn't able to fulfill her time aspect and like save the day through impossible means, just like how, similar to Dirk got really depressed and pixelated when he thought everything was his fault. But it's that same kind of like numb, hopeless kind of depression. It's not tears and crying, it's not anger, it's just numbness and acceptance. So that feels very similar to me, how they react in failure. But Prince is also that combination of that headstrong, like, charging into danger without thinking of how it's going to hurt you, or, like, seeing yourself as sort of, like, throwaway or vulnerable or worthless, but, like, as long as you can help other people, you're fine kind of thing. And usually it turns out fine for them. The other thing, too, is princes have to be careful not to destroy themselves in their own path of destruction, in their own kind of, like, this kind of thing. And she very much, you know, she's got to be careful not... She went out into the sun like that and almost hurt herself really badly. So, I'm actually seeing very strong calls for her to be a prince, of all things. It's really interesting. Yeah. Okay, so that's all 4 of the, Oh, oops, there. Put back, okay. So that's all 4 of the, roots now I did. So to go over them again, in order this time, we have Amisia Erdahn. She's the indigo-blooded troll with the Sagira sign. She's the tenable, prosperous way, and mind-bound. Now I'm just gonna look up what tenable means, because I forget. So that might help me a bit. It means able to be maintained or defended against attack or objection. An office position scholarship able to be held or used. Yeah, used in such a simplistic approach is no longer tenable, defensible, justifiable, supportable, sustainable. Okay, tenable, I get it. Just sustainable, supportable. Okay, yeah, probably made for her then, because that brings... I'm feeling the knight was the least, like, likely of the 3 of them. Between maid, knight, and prince I was thinking about, the knight is the least likely, so it's either maid or prince for her. But with everything else about her, so she seems to be stuck in patterns. She likes to do things for herself, which suggests an active class. She's very childlike, and she seems to rely on the help of others around her, like with her friend Shahoot, to do things for her. But she seems to be starting to get into her own, like, thing. The reason she's mind is because she's canon-minded. It does fit for her with how she's acting like an artist rather than being an artist, but the maid aspect of her class is helping her sort of get through that. So now she wants to do things for herself, try out new things on her own terms. She's actually becoming inspired and wanting to do art. So, it was kind of ambiguous, but I'm thinking Maid is the most likely for hers. Especially because Maid is the creation class, and she does have this connection to, like, artistic stuff. Even though it's an act, because that's what her mind aspect would be. So, Maid of Mind for Amisia is my most likely thing for her. So I'll write that down. Next is Cirava Hermod. This is the one I actually got the least amount of stuff for him. Like, there was just that one big word. It was just like, that's what it's like to suffer. And he does seem to be, like, very focused on himself, his image, this kind of thing, but he has suffered a lot in his life through that. I don't like to use suffer for what mages are, though, because, like, it's not fair to say that mages only ever have bad things happen to them, you know what I mean? Like, I like it more that the word is experience, meaning that, you know, they just experience everything that they go through, whether good, bad. They have their own personal perception of their own lives and their own aspects and this kind of thing. And he does remain hopeful still, of all things. And he's the Gemrius sign, meaning he's the perceptive. So there's less for it, but mage seems most likely. So I can see him being Mage of Hope. So there's Amisia, Maid of Mind, Cirava, Mage of Hope. Next we have Skylla. Skylla I'm almost actually really certain is Prince of Time, like I just spoke about. So Prince of Time, almost certain for her. And then Bronya Ursama, the Jade Blood with the Virius sign. And, oh yeah, wait, Skylla Koriga, she's got the Taurus sign, which is the Prosperous. And Prosperous means to, like, yeah. There's a bit of connection there, you can see to Prince. Princes are prosperous, you know, riches, that kind of thing. And then Bronya Ursama is a Jade-Blooded troll with the Virius sign, meaning the Adaptable, and she's breath-bound. So that's pretty interesting. The one thing with her is, adaptable is like a word that's often used in conjunction with heirs, but I don't necessarily think that means that she is an heir. Because then she would be an heir of breath, because she's breath-bound. So, like, she's pretty much not an heir. So when you go to the second next class, of the second most adaptable kind of class, it honestly feels to me either rogue or sylph, and I'm not sure which one, because a lot of the things inherent to her personality are things that both sound like something a sylph would do, and both sound like something a Jade Blood would naturally do. But she seems very, like, you know, she's one of those that fits into her role of a Jade Blood very, very well. She's not... There could be other Jade Bloods that act a certain way, but that have different personalities that conflict with their Jade Bloodedness. But she doesn't. Bronya is like the Jade Blood of the Jade Bloods. She's naturally very motherly and caring, to the point where she's willing to break some rules and do things her own way, in a very Robin Hood sort of way, where she's taking care of things like almost a bit of a revolutionary, that kind of thing. So on the one hand, very Sylph-like, but when you get into the revolutionary stuff, like the potential to be more than what she is, you get into something that sounds very roguelike. So I honestly am kind of torn between the two, because I don't want to say Sylph just because she's a Jade blood, but on the other hand, there's enough stuff there to just justify Sylph. The other thing too is that you could spin the whole revolutionary stuff thing as that Sylph's sort of ideals of they want to do things their own way, not necessarily just follow like what society tells them to do. Because the Sylph is very much that I know what's best, mother knows best, you know, you can't tell me what to do. Sure, all the rules say that you must let sick trolls and wigglers die, but you know what, I think there's a better way. So it's like a not even a 70, it's like a 60-40 split for me, with 60 Sylph, 40% possibility of rogue. The other thing that lessens that too for me is that Rogue of Breath is a class that already exists in Rufio, and that doesn't necessarily mean that none of the trolls can't be a Rogue of Breath. It's just, it lessens the probability. Because when you do something like this, when you focus on the fact that they have the canon-bound symbols and all that, it strikes me as wanting to like give more examples of all the different class backs rather than rehash the ones we've already seen. So, going with that, I'll think my final thoughts. I'll say Sylph of Breath for her. So those are my 4 class spec thoughts, roughly. I am kind of tired because I woke up at like 4 to do this, but, yeah. Yep. Those are my thoughts. I think they're pretty good. I think I've got some solid, like, views for them. Going through the routes all at once at first, I have to think about it and, like, simmer on it a bit, maybe get more thoughts, but that's roughly how I think about it. So, thanks for joining me for the FriendSim stream. And thanks a lot. I'll be posting this on YouTube shortly. Have a good day, guys.